I have often heard people say, I can't afford to travel. I don't have money to save for travel. Can't do it. Not possible. I don't know how you go and do that without using credit cards. And if that's you, you're in the right place. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we've learned to travel without using credit cards for all of the expenses. And sometimes it's not realistic. Sometimes it's just life. We're busy spending our money on mortgage payments and car insurance and groceries, and that's just how things roll. But when we are able to make it happen, this is how we do. I have actually just made myself a spreadsheet and filled it with all of our expenses that I have come across in all of our travels. And there may be, oh, sorry, there's cats. We have cats in the hole. They're here. But there may be some categories that you didn't think of, and I'm going to go over some of those and how we have managed to find categories that we can trim a lot of the big expense of traveling out of. So your main categories at the top, of course, are going to be transportation, lodging, and food. And those are also the 3 categories where you're going to be able to trim some money if you're willing to do it. And then maybe you can go more often rather than blow everything on those 3 categories. So I built a spreadsheet, make a list, 4 columns. First column is going to be obviously the name of the expense. Second column is going to be what's the estimated cost of that expense. So I am pretty good at guessing because we've gone enough times. I kind of know what we're going to spend in each category based on prior trips. But you can also look at what's the current price, what's the rate for that room, how many nights you're going. You can get, pretty good guess of what the expense is going to be. And then the third column will be how much did it actually cost. So you have your estimate and then your actual. And then the fourth column is just nerdy stats because I like to know, did we come in under or over budget? So that's the, how did we do category. So what I start with at the top is obviously those 3 main: airfare, lodging, food. But after that, we need to dig a little deeper into the smaller expenses that you may not have thought of. So once you get where you're going, are you going to need a rental car? If you're renting a car, do you need rental car insurance? Maybe it's done through your credit card you used to book the car. Maybe you need to talk to them about it. Maybe it'll be an extra expense that you weren't expecting. You're going to need gas for that car. If you did the itinerary we talked about, how many miles are you going to be driving? What does the gas cost where you're going? How many, I actually do the math. How many gallons are we going to probably need? Put it in the budget. Do you need an international driver's license where you're going? Maybe for both of you. Do you need a travel insurance, medical insurance, not travel trip insurance, but medical insurance? That's a whole other category. Do you need a international phone plan, which if you're going out of the country, you definitely do. Are you going to need train tickets once you get there? Are you going to need transportation on the ground? Are you going to need trains to do day trips? Are you going to need shuttles? Are you going to need taxis from the airport back and forth? When you leave your house, are you leaving your car at the airport? That is a daily expense that it adds up, anywhere from $5 to $10 a day to leave a car at an airport, sometimes more. So add that in. Are you having someone come watch your house? Do you need the neighbor kid to come feed your cats or water the roses? You need to figure that into your expenses. And then even closer to the trip, once you're there, are you going to need metro tickets? Do you need to get the card? Because I know London and Paris have a card you can buy, but you have to buy the card up front and then you load it with metro tickets. Are you going to need guidebooks? Definitely you need guidebooks. Put that on the list. Are you going to pay a guide? I mean, we don't, but a lot of people do. Look into, are there guide things that you're going to want to do? Are you going to go see sites? What are the sites? Most of the sites are not free. What is the entry fee per person? What are you driving to the site? Is there a parking fee? I mean, all of this stuff adds up, and it's things you don't think about when you're like, okay, we got our food, we got our hotel, we're good to go. Like all these little things are where you come home like, what just happened? We just did double. So tips. I mean, you're going to tip people here and there. There's going to be a lot of these little, the more specific you can get at the bottom small end of the budgeting, the more luck you're going to have coming in on budget. And we've had trips where we come home, I take the budget with us, and at the end of every day on our trip, I will take the receipts we spent, and I literally sit down and do like a register and put in the categories we're spending in and kind of see where we're at. Are we on track? Are we going too far over in a category? And then we can make adjustments to that. But we've had trips where we come home within $7 was my record. $7. We were within $7 of my estimated budget. So I was all, yes, we did it. So once I have all of these expenses and I've got them in the spreadsheet or the list and I've added them up, I start with, okay, what's the dream trip? Put everything in, just hit me with it. And sometimes you get that and run the spreadsheet and that number is like, oh, that's not happening. Because how I save for it is we take today's date, the date you're leaving, how many weeks do you have? That is how much you have to save every week. Divide it. How many weeks do you have? How much do you need? If it's too much, it's too much. And then if if that's not realistic for your budget, you need to go back up and either postpone the trip or shorten it up or cut out some, trim up the hotel where you're going to stay, trim some things out. And so here are the categories where I trim things out. And you may have seen, I did go Delta 1 and Delta Premium Select once. I've done those a total of once each, so we don't roll that way. That's the main place we cut out, is we don't pay for first class 10-star travel get there tickets, not doing it, because it's amazing. It's an amazing way to go. If you can afford it and save for it, awesome, do it. But I would rather take the money that you would spend on 2 Delta 1 round trip tickets to Europe. We could go to Europe for a week at a time, 3 more times. I'd rather go 3 more times. So that's going to be your call. If you have miles to put towards it, like we did the one we did upgrade with miles. But if you're spending it, there's no way that I'm paying for that price to get over there. It's a seat. You end up there you're in the same place at the same time. Hotel, same thing. I will never pay for a 5-star hotel. I don't need gold-plated everything. It's a bed, it's a door that locks, you're hitting the street every day, you're not staying in the room. So I skip that. We do Airbnb, we rent an apartment. I'm good with like funky, quirky, bohemian, oddball apartments. If they're clean and they're cool and they have a kitchen, bedding. But make sure you do some of the filtering, because some of them, they don't include things that you would expect. But we get an apartment, so we have the whole place to ourselves. We're in a great neighborhood somewhere where you can walk down and you're just blending in and going to the market and getting food, which you then bring home to your kitchen and you can cook in. I mean, I get it that when you're on vacation, you want to be treated, you want to treat yourself, but you don't need to eat out 3 meals a day. You don't. Go get coffee at a market, get some croissants and bring them up to the apartment. We do that in the morning. We'll make a little breakfast, have a croissant and an orange or a banana, coffee, and hit the street. And then we know we're going to eat lunch out because you're out, you're doing stuff. Although we have been known to pack a picnic and just, if you're on the road driving, we pulled over in Normandy and just pulled off in a field by a river and ate our sandwich with the windows down, and it was great. So it doesn't need to be a reservation at a restaurant and a thing every meal. That is one of the biggest expenses. And we've even gotten to where here at home, let's just go out. I don't want to cook. We'll look at each other and go, you know what? If we skip this dinner here, that's $100 we have towards maybe a dinner in London or Paris or wherever you want to go, or towards your trip. So think about cutting these things out and trimming your budget here and there at home to make this stuff possible. Because when it boils down to it, what I'm trying to save, if I'm saving weekly, I need this much a week, like where can I get it? So I'm all about trimming stuff out. So the way that we also do that is trim. Like we all have those little categories that we spend money every week on stuff. Even when you're, pretty tight on money, we still have a tendency to, buy a little treat here and there. If Starbucks, if you're eating lunch out, if you get your nails done, all of us have different categories we're going to put little bits of money, even sometimes when things are tight. So some of that you can trim. Like I cut out all the things like Netflix and Hulu, all the subscriptions. Like we don't need 500 channels of cable. We don't have TV at all. We don't need cable. So we cut all of that stuff out and we make some adjustments here and there through the week or through the year so that we can afford to do this stuff now and then. We don't do it all the time. We don't go, sometimes we'll go. Last year we were lucky enough to go twice. We went together and I went by myself to Europe 2 times in a year. But that's not always the case. This year, I don't think we're doing any long haul stuff this year. So, but next year we do have some big stuff planned again. So it'll be closer to home this year. And that's just how life is. It's not an all the time thing. So there's no way that I'm going to tell you, you can go anywhere if you just dream big enough. Sometimes it's not really possible. So we go when we can, and we are just grateful that we got to, but this is how we make it happen. And we don't use credit cards to do it. Because the thing about putting stuff on a credit card, when you come home, now you have a big bill to look at and you've got to figure out how to pay that off. And you had all that fun, but now you've got this nightmare ahead of you. So if you can, it takes some patience and some time before you go, because you're going to have to wait while you save. But if you can get ahead of it that way, when you have it all saved up, by the time you're on the trip, you're not like, oh my God, we're spending so much money. We've already saved it. It's good. We're good. We can spend it. It's fine. And then when you get home from the trip, you can just go back to work. And next week you can start, like, where do we want to go next? Let's save the same amount again, start over and start saving for the next trip. One last thing that I remembered to tell you, if you are self-employed, this is the elephant in the room that we self-employed people forget. We may have flexibility on dates when we can go and when we want to go, but sometimes You will find if you're self-employed that you don't have PTO. We laugh because when we go places, it means we're working double time before we go. You're working twice as much to get that time off because you still had to do that work. So we don't have PTO. We don't have automatic deposits that are going to show up while we're gone. So the other thing to look at when you're planning, if you're self-employed, look at your calendar and pick the week to, if you're going to be gone, pick the week that you might not have as many expenses going out, because it's just easier to not have to save. You have to have all those covered while you're gone. So add that to your budget. Add a line for bills while we're gone. And sometimes that's bigger than the trip. So make sure you count for that, and make sure that kind of everything is really taken care of before you leave, especially self-employed, because we had a trip, we had an experience once. We were on a cruise ship off in the ocean with very little internet, and I popped online to just like quickly check the emails, and we're paying, $20 a minute for data or whatever it was. Check the emails, check the bank account, like everything just pop in. And someone had run a check that we had them holding. They ran it a week early. We had a negative 5-figure number in our bank account. We were on a cruise ship with no money in the bank. Complete disaster level of like, we can't call this guy. I mean, what in the world? So obviously, take credit cards for backup, because you could get into a situation like that. And so we do take credit cards for that. We haven't run into that again. That was when we were younger, but watch for that stuff. Be ready for, if something can go wrong, it probably will. Like we also had a time where we left and went from the west coast of the US to Paris, landed on the ground, and our bank here had not, although they said they had me, it's good, we're covered, you're fine, we know you're gone. They had not put the vacation note on our debit cards. So when I got on the ground in the airport in Paris, debit card not working, nothing. And it's the middle of the night here. We had a small bank. There's not a number you can call at midnight in the Northwest to say, hey, we can't use our money. So take credit cards in case things like that happen. Sometimes your debit card or your card you're carrying will not work. Take multiple things to use in other countries, because randomly sometimes they just will not work. And that's just sort of a ramble, but that's just something we've learned about money in other countries. The third category where we save money, I think I've sort of talked about a little, but eat in a little bit. Cook some meals in your apartment. We do dinners in too. We do the breakfast, like I said, we'll do lunches and picnics out. But I will, for the most part, we'll go to a market and grab some things we need, grab some food, and come back and cook. A lot of our dinners we'll cook in, or we'll just go to a cafe. But you don't need to hit a 5-star restaurant unless you're just a foodie and you want to save the money for it. That's cool. But we would rather go again and see more things. So I will cook in. And if you don't know how to cook, I mean, maybe you should learn. No, kidding. Cook in if you can, is what I'm saying. And we will always build into this budget if it's possible. I will budget a splurge thing. Pick one thing that's your splurge. And one year our splurge thing, and it was a big deal, but we planned to do the river dinner cruise on the Seine River at night for, I don't know, it's like a 2-hour cruise, and it's like and we upgraded it to like the champagne reception, and they greet you and you sit by the window and there's live music. Although don't take the rose from the guy on the pier because it's not free. I was like, oh, thank you. And then he kept walking along like, no, I need money. So I was like, here, you can have it back. Anyway, book a splurge thing if you can. That's fun. But for the most part, I'd rather cook in and plan to come back again sooner rather than a week of 5-star restaurants and then we can't do this again ever. So that is how we do it. And if you want to know how I get my data and build the itineraries, I have a video. I'll post a link here, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.